How much do you have to wash your dreadlocks in order for them to grow faster? Washing your dreadlocks is actually extremely important, especially during the growth process. If you have a bunch of buildup on the scalp or your scalp is really dry, it's not going to want to grow. When the scalp becomes dry, it can flake off and actually create more buildup. That's where you get the term dandruff. And if that continues to build up around the scalp, it's not going to allow the hair to pop out and grow. But also adding too much products into your hair will also stunt the growth of your hair as well, especially thicker products like conditioners and possibly even shampoos that you're using. Anything that can cause the dead skin on your scalp to not be able to fall off the scalp freely is going to cause buildup. So to answer your question with how often should you wash your hair a week, if you have buildup on your scalp, then wash it off. It doesn't matter how frequent you wash your hair, just make sure that you don't have buildup on your scalp. So say your scalp starts to get buildup every 2 days, then wash your hair every 2 days. If your scalp develops buildup once a week, then wash it once a week. Everyone's scalp is different, but keep in mind, if you want to wash your hair more in order for them to lock quicker, then your scalp is going to adjust over time. So choose what you want to do with your hair and then keep doing that. I think washing your hair once a week is a great frequency, but you can also wash your hair twice a week, and 3 times a week is really as much as you want. But the goal is to minimize as much stuff is on your scalp. That will make your hair grow at a proper pace. If hair is left on the towel, it's a big problem. You shouldn't be doing it. Hey, I got a question. Is it okay to have hair left on the towel? Because I've been doing the towel rub method for dreads. Now I'm really just kidding, because hair falls out every single day, and it's actually 50 pieces of hair that fall out of everyone's scalp every single day. Statistics have proven that. So as long as it's not a ton of hair coming out and onto the actual towel or sponge or whatever you're using to get dreadlock, then you're gonna be just fine. But if while you're doing the towel rub method, you're getting a lot of tension at the scalp, that's gonna be a problem. Anytime you feel pulling at the scalp, you want to take a break and actually give your hair a breather. Because if you're constantly pulling hair out of the scalp, that can actually result in balding over time. Hair at its very root is called a follicle. And if that follicle becomes to get swollen and actually gets choked out from your scalp, then that hair can no longer grow right there. So you have to be very careful with that. But if the hair is just breaking off the tips or breaking off somewhere before it even reaches the scalp, it's completely fine, and it's actually normal. Because if you have 50 strands of hair falling out every single day, that means at any given moment, you're going to have hair inside of your actual hair that isn't even supposed to be there. This is me personally. I would not recommend using conditioner when you're locking in general. That's just me. Could you use leave-in conditioner to do freeforms? I know that there's a lot of people out there that actually use conditioner during the locking process, but it is extremely counterintuitive. If you want your hair to lock up, you want it to be combined and create knots and create a lot of knots really fast. But with using conditioner, it softens up the hair and loosens up any knots that you have already, and it's really working against you getting locks. Now, after the fact of getting dreadlocks and maturing them and going through the entire process, then go ahead and use conditioners if you want to. I still have never used conditioner on my hair with the 6 years or 7 years of me having dreadlocks. And this is actually my 3rd or 4th set. But if you're taking advice from me, don't use conditioners during the locking process because it's working against the locking process. Now, if you're doing freeforms, I mean, there's nothing really you can do to allow your hair to lock up quicker besides wash it. So if you want it to lock up quicker, then just wash it more. And really, if you want to use conditioner, you can. But if it's coming from me, I didn't use any conditioners. Should I get a retwist? When do I know I should get one? That is completely dependent upon you. But if you want your hair to look maintained all the time, the moment that your hair becomes unraveled at the roots, or you have at least ½ inch of new growth, which is a month of new growth, then get a retwist, which would leave you at getting a retwist every single month. If you want to leave an inch of new growth before you do a retwist, then that's every 2 months. If you want to do 2 inches, that's every 4 months. Or if you just want to base it on how messy your hair gets, then do it as often as you would like. But I would limit you to only getting a retwist once a month so that your scalp can constantly get breaks in between getting a retwist, especially if you're doing any hairstyles. Anytime I do a hairstyle, I like to give my hair a long break before doing another one. And that's because I really love my scalp and I want to take care of my scalp and I don't want to have any hair loss. And I don't think any of you guys want hair loss as well. So make sure to take care of your scalp. That's the most important part. But find a frequency that works best for you. Some people do what is called semi-freeform, to where they retwist like once every 6 months. Now, the frequency of getting retwist does change over time as the hair matures, because in the beginning, you're going to have to retwist your hair maybe twice a month, maybe even 4 times a month, because the hair constantly wants to unravel. But say you've had your hair for about a year or even 2 years, you only have to retwist it maybe once a month or maybe even once every 2 months. It really depends on what you want it to look like. Why aren't my dreads growing? Listen, if I were to focus on my hair growth and I'm testing the length of my hair every single day or even every single week, you're not gonna see any growth because you're paying too much attention to your hair. But how do you make it grow faster? You really can't, but you can promote the hair growth by stopping it from stunting its growth. And that is by not putting a lot of products in, washing your hair on a good frequency, and steering clear of any products that can actually leave buildup. So don't focus so much on why your hair isn't growing, but just make sure that your hair is healthy. And I'm telling you, just trust the process and you're going to love your hair at every stage. Find something that you can love about your hair right now and focus on that versus focusing on why your hair isn't growing. But also keep in mind, don't use a whole lot of products because that can really stunt the growth. If you want products like the crochet hook or the interlock tool or even locking gel to make your dreadlocks, click the link down below to go to greatlocs.com to pick out the products that you need for your dreadlocks.